You know that feeling when you're staring at a map of Asia, dreaming of a trip, but suddenly you're drowning in options? Hong Kong, Vietnam, Thailand, Singapore. Each one promises something amazing, but how do you even begin to choose?
It's overwhelming.
Exactly. Well, consider this your lifeline. Today, we're taking a deep dive into these four incredible destinations.
And what's fascinating here is how well our resources complement each other. We've got this detailed PDF that lays out the facts, the economic landscapes, the geography, even crime rates, stuff like that.
Yeah, the hard data.
Right. And then to bring it all to life, we have a personal blog account, someone who actually cruised through all four of these places.
Exactly. So you're getting the bird's eye analytical view alongside the real boots on the ground experiences. Our goal today is simple. Pull out the most crucial insights, the stuff that really matters when you're trying to get a handle on what each place is about.
A shortcut, basically.
Think of it as your fast track to feeling truly in the know.
Okay, so let's kick things off with the economic profiles because that often shapes the feel of a place. The PDF highlights Hong Kong as a major global financial center.
Right.
Talks about its strong service sector, those low taxes, the buzz around its stock market.
And it's interesting how that resonates with the blogger's brief impression. They mention Hong Kong still feeling very British, but with an enormous Chinese influence. You can almost see how that history has molded it into this kind of East meets West economic powerhouse. It's not just about skyscrapers. It hints at, established ways of doing business.
That's a great point. Then when you look at Vietnam, the PDF paints a picture of rapid growth, driven largely by manufacturing, exports, and attracting foreign investment.
So a totally different kind of engine compared to Hong Kong's finance focus.
Completely different.
And Thailand, according to the PDF, has a much more mixed bag. Strong in tourism, yeah, but also agriculture and manufacturing.
Yeah, more diverse.
Suggests a more diverse economic foundation, maybe.
Precisely. And Singapore comes across as a real economic success story. High GDP per capita, reputation for being incredibly business-friendly.
And the blogger felt that, right?
Oh, yeah. The blogger's description of Singapore as a very impressive city, very clean and efficient with lots to see and do, really echoes that. You see that high economic output translating into, well, the development and infrastructure.
Makes sense. All right, let's switch gears. Talk about the physical landscape, geography, geology.
Okay.
The PDF tells us Hong Kong is relatively small, quite mountainous actually, and blessed with natural harbors, which of course explains those iconic waterfront skylines.
And those limited flatlands probably play a role in why it's so dense.
Right.
They have to build upwards.
Good point.
Vietnam, on the other hand, has this long, snaking coastline and much more varied geography. From those striking northern mountains down to the fertile Mekong Delta in the south. Big contrast.
Thailand keeps that sense of variety going. Beaches, mountains, central plains.
Yes.
It's geographically quite diverse, too.
Whereas Singapore, being a small island city-state, is predominantly urbanized, limited natural resources, which really underscores their focus on maximizing efficiency and urban planning,
Yeah, definitely. Now, thinking about the blogger's experience, it's clear why they opted for a cruise. They specifically mentioned the geographical distances between these countries as a big reason why cruising felt like the easiest option for a first-timer.
Makes total sense. You cover a lot of ground without the hassle of multiple flights and hotels.
Absolutely. And they also noted how the January climate was initially temperate and ideal for open-air trips and excursions, then gradually got warmer as we got towards Thailand and Singapore.
Oh.
It not only aligns with the general weather patterns we'll probably discuss later, but also hints at the different landscapes they were passing by and visiting. They specifically called out the boat trip around Halong Bay in Vietnam as a must-see.
Oh, yeah, that's a classic. And it's definitely a testament to Vietnam's unique geography. That strong emphasis from the blogger really highlights how Vietnam's natural beauty can be a major draw.
Definitely. Now let's talk about something crucial. Safety. Crime rates.
Okay, important topic.
The PDF indicates that Hong Kong is generally safe, low levels of violent crime, although it does note that political unrest has been a concern at times.
Right. Vietnam has moderate crime levels, and the main things to be aware of are like petty theft and scams, pickpocketing, that sort of thing.
Okay.
Thailand is also generally considered safe, but the PDF does point out concerns about tourist scams in certain areas and occasional periods of unrest, too. So it sounds like vigilance is key there.
Always a good idea when traveling. And then Singapore, as the PDF states quite clearly, is one of the safest countries in the world,
Wow.
attributing that to its strict laws and effective law enforcement.
Interestingly, while the blogger doesn't directly talk about crime, they do repeatedly recommend guided group tours. Their reason was the enormous language barrier.
But it makes you wonder if that's also an indirect way they felt more secure navigating unfamiliar places. Maybe helping avoid petty theft or scams, even if that wasn't the main reason.
That's a very insightful point. Yeah, having a local guide can certainly make you feel safer, help you navigate, and potentially deter opportunistic crime, even if it's not explicitly mentioned for safety.
How about getting around within these places? Transportation?
Right. Day-to-day travel.
The PDF highlights Hong Kong's efficient and extensive public transport system. There are MTR, trams, buses. It sounds incredibly well connected.
It is. Very impressive. Vietnam, in contrast, is dominated by motorbikes, millions of them. Though the PDF does mention that metro systems are growing in the major cities, like Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City.
Gives you a very different picture of the on-the-ground experience, doesn't it? Motorbike culture versus efficient metro.
Totally different vibe. Thailand has well-developed transport networks in urban areas like Bangkok, the SkyTrain, the MRT. But the PDF also notes the persistent issue of traffic congestion.
Oh, yeah. Anyone who's spent time in Bangkok can definitely relate to that. Hours in traffic.
It's legendary. And Singapore, predictably, boasts a highly efficient, clean, and extensive public transport network. Again, that sense of seamless efficiency just seems to permeate everything in Singapore.
Seems like a theme. Now, the blogger's transport experience was primarily the cruise ship for getting between countries, right?
Yeah, they called it the easiest option, given the distances, especially for first-timers.
Exactly. But once they docked in places like Hong Kong, Hanoi, Da Nang, Ho Chi Minh City, Bangkok, and Singapore, they did take land tours in each city.
Ah, okay.
So while the cruise handled the major leaps, they still got a taste of the local transport options within each destination. Suggests that once you're on the ground, there are ways to explore.
Right. The cruise isn't the only way you move. Let's move on to weather. That really dictates what you can do and when.
Crucial for planning. Hong Kong has a subtropical climate, hot, humid summers and mild winters.
Vietnam's climate is quite diverse because it's so long, north to south. Ranges from tropical in the south to more temperate in the north. And it has distinct wet and dry seasons.
So timing and location within Vietnam really matter.
Big time. Thailand is generally warm throughout the year, but it also has those distinct rainy and dry seasons you need to plan around.
Right. Monsoon season is a thing. And Singapore, according to the PDF, is consistently hot and humid year-round, with frequent rainfall.
Pack light.
Yeah, breathable clothing, and maybe an umbrella is probably a good strategy. Now, the blogger's January cruise experience seems to line up with this. They started in temperate weather, likely Hong Kong's winter, and then it got warmer as they sailed south towards Thailand and Singapore.
That first-hand account really validates the general climate patterns in the PDF, doesn't it?
It does. Okay, let's talk about how you might communicate. Language.
Always a big one for travelers.
In Hong Kong, Cantonese is the primary language, but English is widely spoken. That's a significant advantage for many international visitors.
Definitely makes things easier. Vietnamese is the official language of Vietnam, and while you'll find some English spoken in tourist areas and cities, it's likely not as prevalent as in Hong Kong.
Okay, good to know.
Thai is the main language in Thailand. Again, English is spoken in tourist centers, so you can probably navigate those areas reasonably well, but maybe less so outside of them.
Right. And Singapore stands out as multilingual. English, Mandarin, Malay, and Tamil are all official languages.
Very diverse.
The fact that English is one of them definitely makes it more accessible for many international travelers, which really underscores the blogger's strong recommendation for guided group tours if you only speak English.
Exactly, citing that significant language barrier in some of the other locations.
That's a really key practical takeaway from their personal experience. While you might find some English, relying solely on it could be more challenging in, say, Vietnam and Thailand compared to Hong Kong or Singapore.
Definitely something to factor in.
Yeah.
And now, for a topic I know many people are very interested in.
Ah, yes. The best part. Hong Kong is famous for its dim sum, amazing roast meats, fresh seafood, and a really diverse range of international cuisine, too. Reflects its global connections.
Sounds incredible. Vietnam offers incredible pho, those tasty banh mi sandwiches, lots of fresh herbs, flavorful rice dishes.
Wow.
It sounds so vibrant and fresh.
Makes my mouth water just thinking about it.
Thailand, of course, renowned for its aromatic and sometimes fiery curries, the classic pad thai, those amazing tropical fruits. Get ready for a real explosion of flavors there.
Definitely need to try everything.
And Singapore is this fascinating culinary melting pot, blending Chinese, Malay, Indian, and Western influences. Iconic dishes like Hainanese chicken rice, laksa.
Well, laksa, yes. The blogger was definitely a fan, describing the street food in all of the cities as fantastic to look at and superb to taste.
High praise. However, they did include an important piece of advice.
Oh.
If you have a delicate stomach, you should exercise extreme care when trying street food.
Ah, that's a good reminder. Food safety is important when you're traveling, especially with street food, however tempting.
Absolutely. Better safe than sorry.
Now, stepping back from the specifics, what were some of the overarching impressions, the key recommendations the blogger had after experiencing all four places?
Well, overall, they had a very positive experience. Summarized it simply as a great trip.
Good to hear.
They also observed a complete culture difference between our existence in the West and their Eastern lifestyle, which, is a fundamental part of why we travel, right? To see those differences.
Absolutely. Broaden the horizons. And they had some specific must-see recommendations based on their first-hand encounters.
They did. The Cu Chi tunnels in Vietnam stood out. They called it the highlight of the entire cruise trip and a real eye-opener. Really underscores the historical significance and impact of that site.
Wow, highlight of the entire trip. That says something.
Yeah. Their second recommendation was to spend more time in Singapore, suggesting their initial 2-night visit just wasn't enough to really appreciate what it offers.
Interesting. So Singapore needs more time.
Apparently so. And their third highlight was the trip around Halong Bay in Vietnam, again emphasizing this stunning natural beauty and unique experience of exploring that area by boat.
So 2 major highlights in Vietnam, it seems.
Looks like it. These are really invaluable insights coming directly from their travels.
For sure.
And finally, the blogger shared a really thought-provoking reflection. You should travel away from home to really appreciate the value of what you have at home on your return.
That's deep.
It speaks to how travel can broaden your perspective, but also deepen your appreciation for your own life, your own context.
That's a great point. So as we bring this deep dive to a close, what are some of the key distinguishing characteristics of each location that emerge when we combine, the factual data with that personal travel experience?
Well, it seems Hong Kong really stands out as this dynamic intersection of East and West. Powerful, globally connected economy, strong sense of its historical ties.
Right, that British and Chinese influence blend. Vietnam offers an incredible journey through history, like with the Cu Chi tunnels, and a landscape of stunning natural beauty, Ha Long Bay. But you might need to be prepared to navigate a greater language barrier there.
Good summary. Thailand presents itself as culturally rich, incredibly diverse, everything from bustling Bangkok to serene beaches. Though, maybe be wise about potential tourist scams.
Always good advice. And Singapore shines as a modern, efficient, exceptionally safe, an urban center that's perhaps particularly appealing if you value order and ease of navigation, maybe a different pace compared to the others.
Could be. And as the PDF highlighted, each of these locations offers unique advantages. Whether you're thinking short vacation or even a longer-term move, ultimately your own priorities, what you're seeking, will guide your choice.
That's so true. It's not about which is best, but which is best for you. And thinking back to the blogger's final thought about appreciating home, it really makes you consider what kind of journey would most resonate with your own desire to explore and understand the world. What unique discoveries would you make in these places, and what new perspectives might you gain along the way?
Yeah.
It's definitely something to ponder as you plan your next adventure.
Thanks again for joining me for this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure.
Until next time.
Goodbye.